times, Routh appears agitated in the video. He squirms around in the back seat. Other times, he rests his head with his eyes closed.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. My brother just came by here. I was at Street. He's now left, but he told me that he's committed a murder. I'm terrified for my life.
Okay, hold on.
Because I don't know if he's going to come back here.
Okay. What's his name and what did he leave in?
His name is Eddie Routh. Come on, James. Get your shoes on. Let's go.
How do you spell his last name?
R-O-U-T-H. I'm sorry. I'm really scared. Really, get in the car. Now, listen, I don't know if he's being honest with me.
I know.
Apparently, like, I'm just really terrified. I don't even know where your police department is. Is it over there?
Over by the highway.
It used to be the church?
Yes, ma'am.
It used to be a church?
I'm just going to stay on the phone with you until you get here, okay? And who did he say he had killed?
He said that he killed 2 guys. They went out to a shooting range, and he's all crazy. I don't know if he's on drugs or not, but I know that he's been... Let me talk to you. My husband's going to talk to you because I'm so nervous.
He said he killed 2 guys at a shooting range.
Shooting range he was talking about?
He didn't say.
He didn't say? Okay.
He was recently diagnosed with PTSD.
With what?
PTSD.
PTSD?
Yeah, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay.
And he's been acting real weird from that. He was just out of the mental hospital, actually.
Okay, what hospital did he get out of?
Green Oaks.
When did he get out of Green Oaks?
About a week ago.
This is Eddie Ray Routh. He was born on September 30th, 1987, to Raymond and Jody Routh. Routh grew up in the Dallas suburb of Lancaster, about 20 miles east of Midlothian. From when he was 13 years old, Routh expressed his interest in joining the military. At age 18, after graduating from the same high school that Chris Kyle, one of his victims, had also attended 13 years previously, he enlisted in the U.S. Marines in 2006 and became an armorer. The following year, Routh was deployed to Iraq before being sent on a 7-month Middle Eastern deployment on the USS Bataan. Routh then served in Haiti for 4 months following the earthquake in January 2010. It is believed that it was in Haiti that Routh's mental health began to deteriorate. At one point, Routh told his father he had been fishing hundreds of bodies, men, women, children, out of the ocean, piling them up and throwing them into mass graves. After serving for 7 years, Routh was honorably discharged from the Marine Corps in July 2011. In the same month, Routh was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder after being admitted to the Dallas Veterans Administration Hospital. It was clear since his return that Routh struggled with normality, and his mental health issues hampered his chances of holding down a job. He was prescribed a large range of powerful medication, including antipsychotics and antidepressants, and was also self-medicating with marijuana and alcohol, contributing to his experiences of a serious depressive illness. However, after Routh experienced several delusional episodes, resulting in him being in and out of the hospital and then drugged and discharged, Routh seemed to improve and moved in with his girlfriend, Jennifer Weed. This later proved to be a risky move because Routh later took Jennifer and her roommate hostage with a knife in their apartment until police responded to the incident. As a result, Routh was admitted to the Veterans Hospital again. Clinicians believed Routh's psychotic symptoms were caused by alcohol abuse and offered inpatient treatment, but he declined and stopped taking his medication altogether. In the evening of the day he allegedly shot and killed Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield at a gun range in Glen Rose on February 2, 2013, Routh stole Kyle's pickup and fled the scene and was later found sitting in the parked vehicle, where officers heard him talking about voodoo, the apocalypse, and people feeding on his soul. Audio from the arrest showed Routh saying that everything was happening so fast and that "I don't know if I'm going insane." He went on to ask an officer, "If it's voodoo that's upon us, and I can feel everybody feeding on my soul." Routh then sped off and started a police chase, but the pickup he was driving broke down on the freeway, after which he was forced to surrender. Before the interrogation begins, Routh seems far too relaxed and seems oblivious to the gravity of his situation. At this point, he is already a suspect in the double homicide, which explains why he's still in handcuffs.
Still trying to find out a lot of stuff, but me too. But I mean, I'm trying to find out more about the world that I've been living in too.
After seeking if the handcuffs can be taken off, Texas Ranger Danny Briley politely rejects his request. He then goes on a tangent about him trying to find more about the world he's been living in. This is point-blank bizarre and questionable behavior.
I never knew I was in this deep when I was looking at the computer screens when I was in Iraq. I never thought it was. Sure. I mean, you can look at, yeah, when you're looking at the screen, it doesn't make sense to you at the time, but then when you really realize what's happening, you're like, it's astonishing, Exactly. What? Right. Well, since they have you in this building, and we'll talk about the government, the government wants me to read constitutional rights because you have all those protections, and also I'll read those to you, and then we can talk. Well, the Constitution cares. Yeah. Let me just read that, and we'll go from there. And, you have the right to remain silent and not make any statement at all, and any statement you make may be used against you at your trial. Any statement you make may be used as evidence against you in court. You have the right to have a lawyer present to advise you prior to enduring any question. If you are unable to employ a lawyer, you have the right to have a lawyer appointed to advise you prior to enduring any question. You have the right to terminate the interview at any time. You understand all the rights. I go around and talk to people a lot, and I never knew counseling was more, counseling between men and women needed to be more heavy in the world than it did. But when you're surrounded on all fronts where you began, you can't just start in one place, Right. You understand those rights they were talking about, right?
The detective has just read him his Miranda rights, and immediately after, Routh begins talking about his beliefs about counsel. However, the detective is taking none of it and immediately brings him back to the main issue of Kyle and Littlefield.
Well, I've been living with somebody with their hand on my ass my whole life. Yeah. I'm not okay with that. That's not right. Somebody doing that to you. It's so sad how it had to happen and stuff, and how it did happen. Yeah, it's, I just wish it would stop, There's never world councils that can speak about this. There has to be. There has to be, to keep people accountable. Yeah. Right. Evidently, You're right. For stuff like this that people that you can't walk on the ground with because they never walked on the same ground with you, you know what I mean? Right. Well, I want you to know, I work for the Texas Rangers, and what we do is we investigate major crimes, homicides. We have all the resources that we utilize to look into those kinds of cases. You understand what I'm saying? Right. And I know what you went through today has been very difficult for you.
The detective uses psychological pressure by telling the suspect that he is convinced of his guilt. In this case, the goal is not to get Routh to confess to the crime, but to understand his motive or reason for committing it. To do this, the detective attempts to build rapport with the suspect. Rapport is an interactive concept that characterizes the relationship between an interviewer and a subject. An interrogation is typically perceived as beginning when rapport is absent. The interrogator attempts to develop it at the outset and maintains it throughout, and sometimes reclaim it when lost. A popular theoretical conception of establishing rapport suggests that three elements must be present. First, both parties should be focused on the same objectives and attuned to a common mindset. Second, the interaction should flow comfortably. And third, both parties should generally have positive feelings toward one another. The detective reassures Routh that he understands how he feels to get him to open up.
And I want to talk about what happened. And you can start with when you woke up today and what happened.
The detective starts the interrogation with the classic step of establishing a timeline of events that lead to the crime. By establishing a timeline, the investigator can determine where gaps in the investigation exist, document the movement of witnesses and victims, exploit inconsistencies, develop alibis, and evaluate the plausibility of the suspect's case.
Well, I keep talking to Chris, I keep talking to Chris in my world. And seems like every time I talk to another man named Chris, I just get sent to another man named Chris. I think about talking to the wolf, to the one in the sky. What? The ones in the sky are the ones that fly, you know what I mean? The pigs in the world. They can truly say they're pigs. I've been smelling it this whole time, I'm just tired of everybody's fucking bullshit. I can smell bullshit and pig shit, I can tell the difference between two different kinds of pigs. Shit, I don't know how you can smell your shit. I'm not trying to say nobody's shit stinking, but shit stinking, you know what I mean?
From a different lens, most of Routh's answers mirror the nonsensical ramblings of someone who has psychosis and other mental illnesses.
And what exactly happened today after you woke up? I'm finally getting best. Peace in my mind, Yeah. Peace of my mind back that I won't ever get back. Where are you from, Eddie? I don't know you. Understand that. I don't know where you're from. I was born right here in this land, in Lancaster, that we're standing in today. Lancaster, Texas. This is where I was born. Well, not born, but this is where I was raised. And what kind of education do you have? High school. I went to high school and I went to join the Marine Corps. After I got out of high school, it wasn't the streets that I was turning for. It was the streets I was trying to come back to get. Our streets have not been straight here in Texas forever. You know what I mean? No town square. There's towns that are square and then there's towns that are fixed. There's no real square town. There can be. There can be square towns around America. There can be prairie towns. Sure. What did you do in the Marine Corps? I worked as a prison guard, and I worked on the gun, so it's like tit for tat, Yeah. Who's saying who's right and who's wrong? Nobody wants to admit that they're right. Nobody wants to admit that they're wrong. I'm the only man that can change it. Yeah. And that's why he's there behind my back right now. Yeah. How long were you in the Marine Corps? 4 years. did you meet Chris?
Chris Kyle was the deadliest sniper in the history of the U.S. Army. He himself recounted his time with the Navy SEALs, the main special operations force of the U.S. Navy, in the bestseller American Sniper. Clint Eastwood used the autobiography to make the 2014 film of the same name. Kyle the Legend, as his comrades in arms called him, or the Devil of Ramadi, as his enemies knew him, became a SEAL sniper in 1999. In the 4 tours of Iraq during the war, he allegedly registered 255 kills, although the Pentagon only recognized 160. Even so, the Pentagon figure makes him the deadliest sniper in the history of the U.S. Army. In 2009, Kyle was honorably discharged from the Army, returned to Texas, and started a security company. He also counseled other veterans with problems.
Well, he was the one that was protecting the schools, you know, from my mom. You know, my mom, she was a teacher, so school teacher. You know, I finally met the guy, I could tell him, you know, I smelled it for what it was worth, and I was like, what's his last name? He was a Kyle. Kyle? Yeah, he was Kyle.
Several months earlier, 25-year-old former Marine Routh had moved back in with his mother, Jody, in Lancaster, Texas. Jody was an employee at the school Chris Kyle's children attended. After Jody approached Kyle about her son's issues and asked for his help, Kyle agreed to share his military and mental health experiences with Routh.
And what's that other guy's name?
Chad Littlefield was a proud lifelong resident of Texas, born in Dallas and graduated from DeSoto High School in Dallas in 1995. He worked at DeSoto's Eagle Labs, an oil services firm, as its facilities and logistics manager. Kyle and Littlefield were workout partners and soccer dads in Texas. They regularly visited the firing range both for professional training and to fulfill the mission of Kyle's charitable foundation. Littlefield was involved with Kyle's cause and volunteered to install workout equipment in disabled veterans' homes.
I couldn't even remember. And when was the first time you met the other guy? First time I ever met either one of them was yesterday. I didn't know who they were, and you know. Yeah. Okay. I knew who they were, but I didn't know, you know, who they were. Okay. It's very evident now who they were, because I'm obviously here on the top side of the world, so, yeah. No. Well, how did you meet them? Did you meet them at your house, or did they came and got me at my house? So, and then where did they take you?
Kyle and Littlefield picked up Routh at his home, and they drove to a shooting range in Chalk Mountain, Texas as part of therapy.
We drove down into the country out there, and then we went and did some shooting sports, you know. Mm-hmm. Some. You know. What kind of shooting sports? Well, I imagine they're headhunters, you know. Mm-hmm. Trying to hunt everybody down that did wrong before, you know. I'm not trying to hunt down anybody that did wrong. Are you? I try to be as reasonable and normal as I can. I try to be as normal and as reasonable as I can every day. I'm thinking about it every day. I'm like, it's pretty damn reasonable. Yeah. I'm pretty damn fair. Right. What happened out there today on just shooting sports? What kind of guys? I was reasonable and fair with the boys, you know. They looked at me in the eyes and I looked at them in the eyes, and then And what happened to them today from your perspective? Well, I can't just keep eating my soul up about this, you know. You're right. And you can't just keep letting people eat your soul up for free, you know. It's not what it's about. It's about having the soul that you have in you for yourself. And I still got tons of people that are eating on my soul right now. I hadn't even been able to sleep. Could have been waiting for him to come back and get my soul. Yeah. You know that feels. I understand. You know? Yeah. I just wish the world wasn't such a soulless place, you know? Sometimes it feels like there's no soul to the soup anymore, anywhere. I feel like I'm maybe writing down books and well, tell me what's happening out there. Have you with Chris and that other guy? Well, you know, I've seen, you know, evidently the communism party wants to run rampant in America. Communism times are here upon us, you know. The Reds are already eating up all the Indians. You know that. It's tragedy. The ones that can't eat the Indians that won't, you know. They're going to have problems about. I can't see the heat. There's got to be a common ground for us to work on at it better so we can all get better. You know, there's got to be common grounds. The warlords aren't very happy with me. I know that. Everybody knows that in town. I can start making things right. I mean, obviously. You saw your sister today. And you told her something bad happened, right? What did you tell her? I told her I had to kill men today.
After leaving the shooting range in Kyle's black pickup truck, Routh went to his sister's apartment around 5:45 p.m. Routh then told his brother-in-law and sister Laura that he and 2 other people were out shooting target practice and he couldn't trust them, so he killed them before they could kill him. Routh told them that he traded his soul for a new truck. Laura Blevins told police her brother seemed out of his mind, saying people were sucking his soul and that he could smell the pigs. He said he was going to get their souls before they took his. When she asked Routh who he had killed, he said Chris Kyle and Kyle's friend.
It wasn't a want to or a need. It was a need. I had to get out of that situation I was in today. That may have not known. I was going to be the next one that was going to be up there getting my head shot and live it off, you know.
Routh states that he believed that he needed to kill or else he would be killed, even though there was no apparent threat to his life, and he was the one being helped. Almost as a premonition, during the trip to the shooting range, a worried Kyle texted Littlefield in the vehicle, "This dude is straight up nuts. He's sitting right behind me, watch my 6. Littlefield texted back, using a military reference for watching one's back.
And how many did you have to kill today? 2.
Routh confesses to killing both Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield. This is a huge break for the interrogators.
I'd much rather put in work, you know, against it, but when did you kill them with? It was a pistol. What caliber? It was a 9. It was a 9. Was this a semi-automatic or revolver? It was just a semi-automatic. What brand gun? It was a SIG. It was a SIG sour, you know. What did you do with that gun? Well, still on that truck, that's why I couldn't, you know, when I pulled back into town, people feel like I could talk to Jesse or anybody like that. Nobody wanted to talk to me about what was right to do. Everybody wants me to do the right thing, sure, but nobody wants me to pay for it. Right. Yeah. I know what's right. Everybody wants me to live for free out on these farms that are high fence and stuff. How many times did you shoot them today?
Briley asked Routh to recount the number of times he shot the victims. He will then go on to ask him to describe events as they happened in the shooting range. Such information is crucial to determine if Routh knew what he was doing at the time of the incident.
A couple few shots were fired. How close were you to them? I was right up close to them. I didn't mean to be so close, but... Did they know you were going to shoot? They didn't know? Why do you think that? Because their training wasn't as good. My training's been better, my life. Who did you shoot first? The ones that I could identify. With better, clearly identify. The one that I could clearly identify I knew if I did not take out his soul, he was coming to take mine next. Or one of his gangsters was coming to take one of my souls next, one of his kids' gangsters. I'm just tired of playing chess with my life. It's not about playing chess pieces in life. I mean, it is about playing chess pieces in life, obviously. The chess holds the power. Right. Was there a time today you used any drugs?
After rambling about taking souls and how he's tired of playing chess with his life, Briley asked Routh about his drug use because he thinks there is a correlation between his bizarre comments and drugs. It seems Briley does not want to buy the idea that Routh did not know what he was doing when he shot Kyle in Littlefield. Remember, detectives are all too familiar with suspects feigning insanity to avoid trial or at least get a lighter sentence if found guilty.
Yeah, I did use some tobacco today. And some other kind of drugs. That's true, right? Pure adrenaline, yes. Yeah. I've been running on pure adrenaline for a couple days now straight. This is one of the first time I've got to feel safe was up here at this police station. Right. With more police around me. Yeah, I was kind of looking at your eyes a little bit constricted. I thought maybe you might have used some methamphetamine or something today. I have not. Oh, you have not? I did not. Okay. Have you used it? I've been having such a hard time sleeping because I haven't been taking drugs. And I can't sleep at night. Well, who can sleep in that world? The Sandman keeps winning, you know what I mean? I tell what I know is right to get out the front door. Well, it just keep coming back in my ass to buy me some more. Yeah, tell them, Yeah. Let me ask you, Eddie, have you ever used methamphetamine before? Never. Drugs are what's bringing us into these wars anyways. I know it is. It's about what drugs can get done the fastest by the quickest drug lords will. It's not about that, it's about getting everybody healthy together, You can eat souls when you're down here, the ones that you're given. But you can never make any more after the true souls are gone. Once all the true souls are gone, you're fucked. About what time did this happen? Maybe out there in your range? I don't know, maybe around 2 o'clock or so. And after you killed them, what did you do next? I fled. I didn't know what else to do. My adrenaline was so high, I didn't know what was right, I didn't know what was wrong. I mean, I know what was right now that I left,
Routh states that he fled the scene after he killed his victims. This may lead the judge to deny him the insanity defense and the jury to believe he knew right from wrong.
Where were the keys to the vehicle you drove away in? You remember? Show me your finger.
Well, keys were in it, you know.
Your keys are in it?
No, the keys were in it.
Oh, the keys are in it.
So it was never really like it was, you know, took it. The keys were already in the truck. It was,
Yeah.
pretty much given to me. So
What did you do with the gun that you had? I mean, did you take it with you into the vehicle and then drive away? Yes. Did you feel bad for doing that? Yes.
yes, sir.
You know, what you do today is wrong, right? You understand that?
Yes, sir.
What do you think should happen?
Nothing can keep covering it up forever.
That's the reason you fled, right? Because you knew it was wrong?
In the next few minutes, Briley brings up the idea that Routh knew what he was doing during and after killing Kyle in Littlefield.
Well, I knew that there was certain shit that was wrong about it.
Some of that certain shit was killing him. You knew that was wrong. Right?
Right.
And you knew driving away, taking that truck was wrong. And where did you drive to after that?
Wolf felt so right, should have just stayed.
Are you asking me, should you have stayed? Yes. You shouldn't have done it in the first place. You know, his men, they're heroes.
Right.
You understand that? Ultimate heroes.
Right.
They've been protecting you and me
For a while now.
for a long while.
While longer than I was thinking.
Yeah.
I guess I need to be doing more thinking in this town
Yeah.
than hurting people.
Right. Was there a bomb, like a drug bomb, in some of your stuff?
Tobacco.
Is that what was in the bomb? Is that true or not? I don't know. You know, you have to be truthful with me. If it wasn't, just be truthful. What was in that bomb?
Briley believes Routh is not insane and that his actions were triggered by drug use and not a mental illness.
I imagine there's probably some pot in there too, you know, a little bit of pot. And what else? You know, shit you can't trust anything in Texas with weed in it, because it's usually laced up, you know, laced up so fucking tight with different drugs.
If yours was laced, what do you think it would have been laced with?
Probably some of that wet, or I don't know, could have been anything.
What do you mean by that? Could have been wet? What?
Could have been any kind of particular drug that was put in the weed, you know.
Where did you get it?
I haven't bought any in a while.
Had you used it today? You have?
Yeah.
And you're being truthful with me?
Yes, sir. I smoked a little bit today.
Okay.
I've been trying to relax, and I've been doing relaxing me. The only thing that was helping me was pot. You know, that it was growing here and helping me. Now that I've got so many abandonment issues and trust issues here that I don't know what the fuck is that, you know? I've been having these problems in my town since I was growing up, you know, since a boy. I'm trying to fix this shit that's wrong in our country right now.
What did these guys say to you today? When you were with them, what did they tell you?
They didn't really talk to me about much, you know, they were just, you know, talking about a common man, you know.
Yeah, tell me what they said to you.
Well, you can't walk around as a common man in a world of mistakes, you know.
Is that what they told you?
If that's what the world is seeing, yeah.
I want you to tell me
Or a mistake. I'm not a mistake. I'm tired of missing out on my life because of this shit.
I want you to tell me what these men told you today, these heroes you were with. Tell me what they told you today.
Well, you know, they're telling me about, you know, like stuff they've done, stuff they've experienced and stuff. Well, I've already seen that stuff on the other side of the pond.
You have?
Yeah. When I came back to this one, and it's happening more and more rapid, even more here in Lancaster than anywhere, you know.
And how are they helping you today?
Who's that? Which man?
The men that you killed, how are they helping you today? When they were talking to you?
Talked to me pretty shitty about it, you know. Pretty shitty.
What did they say?
And neither side was being nice about it, you know.
Did you do any target practicing today?
I did.
Tell me about that.
Well, you know, I loaded up a 45 about it. You know,
What kind of distance?
wasn't a distance or anything, but it was out there a little ways, you know, it wasn't far. But still hit my mark when I was needing to hit my mark true, you know.
Absolutely. What else did you shoot today?
On down out.
Okay. What kind of 45 was it you shot? Did some target practicing with?
It was, I guess it was like a revolver.
Was that gun used to shoot anyone today?
A revolver. No.
All right. What other kinds of guns did you target practice with today?
Well, there's a bunch of other ones out there, fully autos out there, and I never shot any of the targets though. You know.
Mhm. Those bunches of other guns you mentioned, did you shoot anything with them?
No. I left them for what they were. So we're meant to be here for some purpose. You know?
Mhm. Yeah. Was the other guy named Chad?
Yeah.
You remember that to be true, right?
Yeah.
Where did you shoot him?
Briley tries to establish Routh's motive for the murder of Chris Kyle, and Routh remains silent, which makes Briley more convinced that Routh is aware of the crime he committed and was an active participant in the killings.
So is there any way I can see my parents yet? Did they make it in yet?
I had not heard.
Anybody heard about them yet?
I haven't. I haven't heard that.
You talk out there and see if they've heard from them.
Sure.
I'd like to see them, see if I can at least hug my mom. One last time, you know.
You want to do that because you know she did wrong today. You shot Chad and Chris, right?
Yep.
Again, Briley is putting more pressure on Routh to get him to acknowledge that he knew right from wrong when he was shooting his victims.
guys are okay. What's your dad's birthday? 9/30/87. I gotta get these cuffs off the back of my neck. Before I keep strangling my folks on that stuff. The wall ain't that thick in here. Or heavy. Yeah. You know what I mean? I know what you mean. Is there anything you'd like to say to the families?
The fact that Routh does not deny his actions were wrong and even apologizes to the victims' families makes his behavior even stranger. He believes he did what he had to do to preserve his life, but is remorseful for the deaths of Kyle and Littlefield.
Yeah, I'm just sorry for what I've done. You know, we can work this out.
Okay. You mean that, don't you? I'll be back. How are you doing today? So I was wondering about my mom and dad. Are they in town yet? Or? I will check with Jesse. See. You probably got past it now. When you come back, I'll go over there and check with Jesse and see if he heard how close they are all the way up.
Okay. And they're gonna get these bracelets taken off?
Routh seems to have forgotten he's in handcuffs, not bracelet things.
Yeah, just like the downward conflict.
At this rate, at this time, not like that. I know that you're uncomfortable.
They got to loosen a little bit. Or Sometimes they do. I'm up on the floor smoking. She wore somebody to stink. Yeah. Sometimes she got groove. You done had a little cold, I think. Yeah, I've had these boots on for a minute. Yes, they look like. Yeah. Ooh. Chris, if you don't know anything, know this. I said, if you don't know anything, please know this. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad I am here too. I'm glad that we're talking to you. So I really want to get those demons out your head. I know you do. I want to go get out of this. I do. Okay? I wish I could get you super break the call. I know, but I can't make that call because although you're a guest in my house, somebody else is pulling strings. That's why you tell me about the facility down in Waco. Right. And why you talking and let you go down there? I don't know.
After talking about pigs, tons of people eating at his soul, and playing chess with his life, it is anyone's guess what is in Routh's mind here. The definition of creepy is causing an unpleasant feeling of fear or unease. One may say this directly applies to what you are looking at right now.
had some things I wanted to clarify with you. The 9mm, the SIG that you said you used to kill him with, is that your personal SIG?
No, that was the other guys.
Okay.
So,
What did they do after you shot them? Can you explain that to me?
They lay there and they weren't breathing anymore. So.
Okay.
Despite being armed, Kyle and Littlefield did not get the chance to defend themselves after Routh started shooting. Routh shot Kyle 7 times and Littlefield 6 times.
About what time did that happen?
You know, 3 o'clock or so.
Okay. And then you left and you drove to your sister's house? And you talked to your sister and you told her what you did. Was there some other guns in that same vehicle you were in? Did you ask your sister if she wanted to see those guns? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did.
Why did you want to show her?
I wanted to see her,
Okay.
you know.
All right. Let me ask you this. You have stated to me that you would like to say you're sorry for what you've done, like to the families. What would you say to them if you had the opportunity to talk to them right now?
I tell them I'm so sorry for what I've done, and if I could have done it differently, I'd have done it somewhat differently. So does these handcuffs on me?
The clothes that you have on now, where did you get those?
From my home.
What were you wearing today out there when you at the gun range?
For the burn.
That's what you were wearing? You didn't change clothes?
No.
Can you think of anything else you would say? No. Can you think of what that marijuana was laced with? What is wet? What was it wet with?
Briley tries to determine whether the marijuana that Routh had smoked that day was laced with any other drugs that led him to take such drastic action.
Probably some purple words. You know,
No formaldehyde?
it could have been formaldehyde. That's what we've been, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna step out of here and get these guys to get back with you, all right? I told you where your family was at.
Quality counts.
Yeah, that's where your family's at. And you all know there's some families out there grieving, right? And you know the difference between right and wrong, right?
Yes, sir.
You do. Okay.
Routh admits that he knows the difference between right and wrong. This means that any insanity plea he submits to the court will be severely weakened.
All right, let me see if I can go see what these other guys are doing, okay?
Sure, what they talk to me about maybe.
You talk to me about when they come over here, okay? Do you have a cell phone or anything like that yourself? Do you have it on you? Do you know your phone number? What is that?
Can't remember off the top of my head.
You tried to run from the police, right? Isn't that right? I heard him talking to you, trying to get you to give up. What I heard them saying is, just come get out, surrender, right?
Understand?
Why weren't you complying? Because of what happened? Okay.
Yep.
What do you want to tell your mom?
I love her.
What do you tell your sister?
I love her too.
Do you wish this had never happened? Seem like you want to cry about it.
I do a little
I see
bit.
the water in your eyes.
Yeah.
If you could take it back, you would. You notice any blood on your boots?
A little bit.
Later in his trial, his defense called family members, friends, and a psychiatrist who testified that Routh had serious mental issues before the murders in February 2013. Psychiatrist Dr. Mitchell Dunn, who had interviewed Routh in the spring of 2014, testified that Routh told him that 1 month before the shooting, Routh believed his co-workers were cannibals and wanted to eat him. Dunn said that it was his expert opinion that Routh had a mental illness. However, forensic psychologist Randall Price, who was called by the prosecution as a rebuttal witness, testified that Routh knew that what he was doing was wrong. Price said that Routh had paranoid personality disorder, which is not a mental disorder, and that Routh's psychotic symptoms were largely due to heavy marijuana and alcohol abuse. But in cross-examination, Price conceded that Routh did not sound normal in part of the confession as seen in the footage. "I killed them because they weren't talking to me." This is the only explanation that Eddie Ray Routh has given so far about why he murdered Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield on February 2, 2013. The fact that one of the victims is the deadliest sniper in American history, coupled with the timely release of the film about his life, turned the trial into a spectacle. On February 24, 2015, after only 2.5 hours of deliberation, the jury found Eddie Ray Routh guilty of the murders of Chris Kyle and Chad Littlefield. He was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole and is currently an inmate at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice prison.
All right, we, the jury, find the defendant Eddie Ray Routh guilty of the felony offense of capital murder as charged in the indictment. That verdict is signed by Ms. Stafford as foreperson of the jury. You may be seated at this time.